Thanks, Asif, for the introduction. Thanks, Mithil, for being here. So, my name is Manan Shah, and I'm founder and CEO of UnifyXperts. Um, we are a company that specializes in ERPNext implementation, development, and other related services. And today, we will see how we have helped other American businesses with ERPNext. So, what I've seen personally is that, Americans in general love technology. They just love using technology. They truly believe in, power of efficiency through use of technology. So any new SaaS or, any technology that's new in the market, Americans are probably the first ones to sign up for it, give it a spin, give it a try, and probably even use it. So what ends up happening is, an average American business will have at least 4 to 5 different softwares that they are using. I've put out some common names that are widely used and the ones that I usually hear from my prospects and my customers. So on the CRM front, you have Pipedrive, Salesforce. A lot of people, like using Google Sheets as well because it's online, it's collaborative, easy to use. And then for stock or inventory management, what I've seen is Fishbowl is one of the commonly used software just because it's marketed well. And then on the manufacturing front, people use certain specific SaaS applications or even Google Sheets. With Google Sheets, you have the freedom of creating a quick spreadsheet. You can add a bunch of collaborators, and people can add stuff, and you can start collecting data, reviewing data, all of that. What I've also seen is people use Asana for manufacturing, just for the Kanban features. Um, they like to create a Kanban view and move stuff from one state to the another. Then on the accounting front, obviously we have QuickBooks. For accounting, you have Zero. Those are great bookkeeping softwares. Um, and what ends up happening is because of this love for technology and just lack of awareness of better solutions out there, the problems that American businesses face is, they end up spending thousands of dollars every month. So a recent customer of ours they were spending anywhere about 5,000 USD every month just to keep up these, SaaS applications, Fishbowl, QuickBooks, and, bunch of other subscriptions. So it may be okay month to month basis. But if you look at the total value or the total cost to you on an annual basis, the amount is huge. And probably you're not even using some of them because a lot of the subscriptions are on auto pay. The other problem is you end up with archaic software solutions. Um, and what I mean by that is something like Fishbowl, right? So a customer of mine was telling me, "Hey Manan, when I look at the website, it looks really, contemporary, great design, everything looks cool. When I look at their YouTube, they have great resources to help the businesses. So that's where people get attracted. But then when they actually sign up for the software, they install the software, it's only a Windows .NET application. It's a glorified Windows XP. That's what I like to call them. It has zero flexibility. If you want to add a single field for your business, you can't do it, right? So that's what I mean by archaic software solutions. So you end up with, old software solutions, unscalable solutions. So most of these SaaS applications uh, are not managed by you or, not someone by So the infrastructure is not in your control at all. It does not scale with your business. If you have a lot of users, your business grows, your data grows, softwares slow down. And this is a common problem I have seen with all SaaS users because you don't own or you don't control the infrastructure. If you want to scale it up, you can't do it. Then we have disconnected, inconsistent data silos. If you're managing CRM on a particular application and then invoicing or accounting on another application, chances are the customer is named differently using different strings on both the softwares. So let's say one of your customers is University of Illinois. So on the CRM, you may have it as University of Illinois, and on the accounting software, since it's an invoicing software, you probably have to add the legal name, which is, let's say, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, right? So those two don't match, which means that if you want to make sense out of that data on those two separate platforms, even if you download the data and put it to Power BI or any business intelligence software, you cannot make sense out of it. So that's a big downside. Then vendor lock-in, right? Uh, so you're locked into those solutions, those vendors. You probably don't own the data. They may have certain features to let you download the data, but the data structure across the softwares is different. Even that data dump is no good to you. So that's where ERPNext comes in, and that's where I see a huge gap in at least awareness that, and a fully open source software which does all of this in one single platform does exist, which gives you all the freedom, right? So that's where ERPNext comes in. What is ERPNext? So ERPNext, like I said, is a single software, an all-in-one ERP which can manage all your business functions, including CRM, sales, purchase, accounting, manufacturing, inventory, project management, support, all the business functions, all in one single software. The origins started way back in 2008 when one of the co-founders, Rushabh Mehta, uh, was starting with his family business, and he saw his business was reeling with a bad ERP implementation, a .NET based implementation, ERP implementation. He decided, why not start my own ERP and open source it? So that's how ERPNext came into being. And then ERPNext is built on top of what is known as Frappe framework, right? So Frappe framework is the foundation of ERPNext that powers ERPNext. Then you have Frappe Technologies, the creators of framework as well as ERPNext. Uh, and if you're wondering what Frappe means framework plus applications. So now today you know what Frappe actually means. It's not the coffee, but that's what it actually means, right? So that's a quick intro to ERPNext. We'll dive deeper into the features in the coming slides. Now I want to explain why ERPNext over any other ERP software, either paid or open source or so-called open source, right? Why ERPNext? So there are three main things why I think any business or any American business should consider ERPNext. One is abstraction, right? So abstraction lets you reuse things again and again in a more adaptable way. So what I mean by that is every business needs to sell, every business needs to purchase something, every business needs to do accounting. People dealing with inventory or stock, they have to manage their inventory, right? So the concepts that are required to sell are not going to change for any business, right? So what ERPNext does is it abstracts those concepts and gives you an easy interface or an easy form where you can record this data and enter in a database in a structured way so that you can make sense out of it. The other part to this why is flexibility. So flexibility is what makes it more adaptable. So every business, although I say that every business needs to do certain things, but every business is different in some way or the other, right? Even in a particular domain, let's consider manufacturing. So every manufacturing business will have some nuances specific to them, regardless of even if they are the same manufacturing domain, right? So what that means is you need the software to be flexible enough to give you some leeway to add certain fields, to do certain things your way, so that the software can work according to your business and the software does not dictate what you need to do in your business. And then freedom, right? So ERPNext is 100% open source with the source code being available on GitHub uh, right away. No, I mean, all modules, there's nothing called, open core or anything like that. What that means is that you get four freedoms of open source. One is to run the program as you wish to, right? Meaning you can run it on-prem, you can run it on Frappe managed cloud, which is Frappe Cloud. You can run it on DigitalOcean, you can run it on AWS, you can run it anywhere. Study the program is the second freedom, meaning that since the source code is available, you can study the program to understand how it runs. Apart from the documentation, you have the source code available. You can understand, you can dive deeper into what the code actually does, right? You can double, you can be double, make sure twice that, security is good. Since the code is open source, you can, verify the security features, etc. Third freedom is redistribute the program, meaning that you can redistribute it as you wish. And then the last freedom is distribute the modified program, meaning that you not only have the freedom to modify it, but distribute the modified program. So as you can see, you know, these are the three main reasons why ERPNext stands out from any ERP hands down, right? And this is like a dream come true for any business. You have adaptability, flexibility, and freedom to do whatever you wish to do. ERPNext is a great fit for these domains out of the box. Having said that, ERPNext is flexible enough to be adapted to any business. Manufacturing, right? It has great features that I will dive deeper into in the coming slides. Then we have distribution. If you're just buying in bulk, selling in retail, we have a great inventory module. We have a point of sale module that you can leverage and manage your distribution business. E-commerce, any form of e-commerce can be implemented on ERPNext with ease. Uh, Either you're selling on Shopify, WooCommerce, your own store. ERPNext is API first, meaning that you can pull and push data out of ERPNext easily with API. And ERPNext also has out of the box integrations with major e-commerce components like Shopify, Amazon, ShipStation. If you're using, ShipStation for generating shipping labels and all that stuff. If the integration is not available, the APIs are there. You can create or develop your own integration. Services, any engineering services, lawyer firm, or any services business can leverage ERPNext for their business. Then these are the modules. You have a CRM module. You can manage. CRM is customer relationship management. You can manage your whole pre-sales part. You can manage all the leads, quotations, opportunities on ERPNext. You can manage your buying, procurement easily. You can float RFQs to multiple suppliers. Uh, then we have a good supplier portal, which I'll be demoing in the further slides. Selling module, accounting module, a great stock module, full traceability features available, serial number, batch number, everything. Manufacturing module, which is dedicated for manufacturing businesses. Asset module. Depreciation entries will be posted automatically. You don't have to post the depreciation entries manually. A full-fledged HR and payroll module, which can generate the payrolls and pay slips easily in an automated way. Project module, start time, end time, planned dates, expected dates versus actual dates. You can record all of that right on ERPNext. Integrations. We have integrations with a lot of great platforms and services. So one good example is Plaid or Played. So it is a bank feed API service, which means that if you're an American business, you can start getting data from your banks, be it Bank of America, be it TCF Bank, any bank. All of the bank transactions can be fetched into ERPNext easily with that integration. Now let's dive into one module at a time. So in the CRM sales, we have lead to quote flow. Means that you can manage right from leads. So leads is like a wish list. So let me share ERPNext and let me show you uh, the modules and some of the great features that we have. So this is, by the way, how the ERPNext home screen looks. It is a very minimalistic contemporary design. It's not your clunky traditional ERP, right? And then you see all the modules, you see the breadth or the wide or the width that is available right here. Having said that, ERPNext comes with a great user access control module. You can define the access control and users will only see modules that is relevant to them, meaning if I am a sales user, I will only see CRM and probably sales selling module, and I don't need to see everything else. And it will be very neat and clean without any confusion. So this is the CRM module. You have your sales pipeline, you have the standard reports. So you can record a lead, and then the statuses are also maintained automatically. So within the lead, you can capture what is the first name, what is the last name, middle name, what is the source of the lead, right? What is the email, contact number, what is the industry, what is the market segment, what is the territory. So it gives you a great way of capturing or segmenting your leads so that you can qualify it with better data. Then we have the activities section. You can create tasks, assign them to yourself or your team members. So you can create a follow-up and assign it to your team member if you're out of office, or assign it to, a specialist in that particular industry. Again, there are a whole lot of framework features like auto assignment, which basically means that you can define certain rules and then leads can automatically be assigned to a particular person or a role, if it falls into certain criteria based on rules. Then you have events. You can create events like, online meetings, in-person meetings, and then it also syncs with your Google Calendar. So you have a consolidated view on your calendar, and you don't have to switch between multiple calendars. Then you have notes section so that you can record the notes. All your team members can refer the notes. And then connections. So this is one of the USPs of ERPNext. You can link multiple documents to different entities, and you can navigate easily between the connected entities. So a lead can be connected to an opportunity, can be connected to a quotation, or it can be connected to a prospect. So if I want to go to the lead, sorry, if I want to navigate to the opportunity belonging to this particular lead, I just have to go to the connections tab, click on the opportunity. It will automatically filter it for that lead, and I have the opportunity right in front of me. I can now review the opportunity. So opportunity is a qualified lead, is one step further in your sales funnel. And you can record what is the expected closing date, what is the probability. You can also add items here. You can add activities, same as leads. In order to pursue this opportunity, you can leverage tasks and events, and try to convert this opportunity into a sales order. Again, we have connections tab. You can navigate to quotations, supplier quotations, etc. Right? So we have lead to quote flow all connected to each other. It integrates seamlessly with your existing email, be it Gmail, be it Microsoft Outlook, or any other email service. So what I want to show here is the activity section. So let's go to quotation, and I think I have a few activities that I can show there. Right. So this is the activity section. So everything that happens on this document is recorded on this activity section, meaning that you have a full trace or history of what has happened on this particular document, right? So I sent this quote right from the system to a customer, and then another user asked for an update right from here. It also shows whether the email was read or not. And then the reply from the customer is also recorded here. Please go ahead, we confirm, right? So it's all within one single platform. Then we have good set of reports available out of the box. So let me go to selling. And these are all the reports that are available out of the box. In the interest of time, I'm only going to review a few reports. So let's look at maybe sales analytics. That's a good report to view. So this report will show you different customers, and this will aggregate data based on sales invoices. It will aggregate value between this date range uh, on a monthly basis. You can do it either quarterly, monthly, or yearly, right? So this tells me that in quarter 4, I did business worth 87 USD from this customer, 261K from this customer, right? So this is a good overview, right? And then if you want details, there are other reports to explore. You can look at sales order analysis. You can look at certain trends. So these reports are available right out of the box. You don't have to build them. Uh, so this is the abstraction that I was mentioning. All of the reports that a business would usually need is abstracted and made available to you through these ERPNext reports and doc types. Smooth transition to production, right? So um, let's say you sold something, right? And then now you want to let the production team know that, okay, we have this order. Now we need to plan for it. So the way that would work is uh, since everything is modules within a single software, the transition between two different business functions becomes seamless. So, for example, if the production team wants to do raw material planning based on the sales orders, all they have to do is go to production plan and then create a production plan based on sales orders, right? They click on the get sales order button. It fetches all the sales orders that are open. And by the way, you can also filter it for a particular item, date range, different filters are available. Based on those filters, you get the sales orders, you get the assembly items, you get the sub-assembly items, and then ultimately you get the raw materials that will be required to manufacture the finished goods, right? And then it also considers what is already available in stock and therefore what is the differential quantity that you need to order. So for this particular item, I already had 30 quantity in stock, but the quantity as per BOM is 200. So it is only asking me to plan for 170 quantity. So it considers all those scenarios and it gives you, an easy to use and easy to digest report directly that you can use for raw material planning. And then you can create work orders, material requests. So material request is like an indent that you would place to the purchase department. So if I click on create material request, it will ask me whether I want to submit the material request. I'll say no because I would like to review it before submitting it. And then if I navigate to the material request, it will create a material request for all the raw materials that it calculated based on my BOM and my sales quantity. So now the purchase team can look at this, and then process this material request. It's as easy as that. So the handover between sales to production to purchase or procurement is all seamless. It's probably just clicking a few buttons, making sure that the information is correct. If you need to make any tweaks, make those tweaks and then take necessary action, right? Okay, so that's CRM and sales. Then we have manufacturing. So I've already demoed the production planning feature. Then we have easy to use multi-level BOM. So BOM is basically bill of material. Uh, so a bill of material is what defines the recipe of a product on an ERP. So for BOMs, we have two good features that I want to showcase. One is BOM Explorer, which lets you explore the BOMs easily. So I have a BOM for iPhone 16 Plus, and I have already created a BOM using a BOM creator, which I will showcase next. But what this report shows you that in order to manufacture an iPhone 16 Plus, you need to have these sub-assemblies and this raw material. Sorry, these sub-assemblies on level 0. And then you can, explode this, and it will say, okay, in order to manufacture this assembly, what are the raw materials that you need? In order to manufacture this assembly, what is the raw material that you need? Right? So this is the Explorer feature. And then we have something called BOM Creator, which lets you create a BOM from an easy to use interface. Uh, Otherwise, what happens is you have to beware of the dependencies and then create the items first, then the subassembly, create a BOM for the subassembly, and then repeat the same process for all subassemblies. And only then you can create a BOM for the ultimate finished goods. So in order to simplify that, we have a simple tool called BOM Creator. You define it in a single interface, submit it, and in the backend, it will create the BOMs on its own. It will create BOMs for all the sub-assemblies and the finished goods, right? Uh, yeah, so that's multi-level BOM. Again, right now I've taken a fairly simple example, uh, probably only one level of BOM, but even this subassembly can have one more subassembly needed within it, and so on and so forth. So the BOM can be really nested and multi-level, and ERPNext is good enough to manage that scale and that complexity. Then this manufacturing module integrates seamlessly with your inventory data. So, like I showed you on the production planning screen, since everything is within the same software, it has the context of your inventory as well. So even during the planning phase, it will show you what is the quantity that you already have in stock, and therefore what is the differential quantity that you should plan for, right? And then you can create work orders. So work orders are like, documents that are given to the shop floor to instruct them, okay, what is the finished goods that you need to manufacture? What are the dates? What is the quantity? And things like that, right? So let's look at an existing work order. So on the work order, once you plan out the work order, so by planning, what I mean is you define the warehouses for that particular work order and submit it, then you see a start button. As soon as you click on the start button, it will ask you what is the quantity that you want to manufacture for. And since the whole work order is for 200 quantity, it tells you the maximum quantity you can add is 200. So it can be lesser, equal to, but not more than, right? So you create it, and it will automatically tell you what items need to be transferred in order to complete this work order based on the BOM and the quantity, right? So again, even manufacturing is easy if you know what to use, how to use. Lastly, you can build your own MES. So MES is Manufacturing Execution System. So for certain complex manufacturing businesses, what they like to have is their own manufacturing execution system, which is nothing but a system or a computer system which tells them on the shop floor what to do next, and then record important data points. So if you want to build an MES, you can leverage Frappe framework and build your own MES or manufacturing execution system. Uh, because of the power of Frappe framework, creating forms is really easy. So if I go to doc type, and if I want to create a new doc type, all I do is just type in the name of the form. Let's say I want to create a form for, uh, cycle, or let's say iPhone MES, right? And I will have to create this in a custom module, but for now I can just go ahead and create it. Let's say ERP integration, and then create. So now I have an interface where I can define my form. Uh, so let's say I create a new section. I can add a field. Let's say it's data, and or let's do link, right? And I can link it to one of the existing doc types, which is, let's say, item. And I will label this as, let's say, item to manufacture, right? Add a field, and then let's say I want to add an image field. I can do that. Save it, and then go to this form, and I have my form ready. Now I can create uh, my own documents, right? I can start using this, and this is as good as an MES. Through the power of client scripts, server side scripts, I can post stock entries in the backend. I can post work orders. I can affect any other doc type or form within ERPNext. So building an MES is also easy thanks to Frappe framework. Next is buying. So within buying, we have the quote to pay flow. You can float an RFQ, which is request for quotation, meaning that you can send your requirements to multiple suppliers, and then they can reply back either through email or any medium, or even better, we also have a supplier portal. So the supplier will get a login and password for ERPNext in a controlled manner with the right access control. They can log into the supplier portal and add their rates right on the browser. They don't need to call you, they don't need to email you. Um, let's look at the supplier portal. So I'll open this in incognito mode just to use it as a different user. And I have my credentials set up for the supplier. So I log into the ERPNext instance, and this is the supplier portal. I'm Rob Zuckerman, and these are the requests for quotations that I have received from my customer. I'm the supplier right now. Um, and these are the requests for quotations I have received. I can enter the rate right here, make a quotation, meaning that submit this rate, and it will create a supplier quotation on our ERPNext instance for that particular RFQ. Then what you can do is, so if I go to supplier quotation and look at this, so this was created by the supplier. They entered the rates. We haven't done anything. We just reviewed it and submitted it. This is from another supplier. They've quoted a little lesser. So what I can do is through a report, I can go to report view, change the report to supplier quotation comparison. It will give me a report as to which supplier has quoted what price for these items. And then I can also group this by item. And when I do that, it will also highlight the lowest quote in green color, right? So I know that, okay, this particular supplier has quoted lowest. It may not be the only criteria for you to finalize a supplier, but that's an important different information to know. So once you know that, you can navigate to the supplier quotation right from the report. So this is the supplier quotation. This is a link. You right click, open it in new doc type. Sorry, new page. Sorry, I may not be sharing the right screen. Okay, is my screen visible now?
Yes, yes, Manan, it's visible only.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. So, right, so I was on the supplier quotation comparison. So this report shows you, the comparison of rates that different suppliers have quoted. And then through that, let's say I want to navigate to the supplier quotation, I right click, open it in a new tab. The supplier quotation is right here. And now let's say I want to create a PO. I want to issue a purchase order to this particular supplier. I just click on create and click on purchase order. It will prefetch all the information from the previous document. I don't have to re-enter it. I can change it if I want, but I don't have to. That manual data entry reduces, it speeds up, it makes your work more efficient, and chances of manual error reduce a lot. So I will issue this PO, and then you can also email it directly from ERPNext to the supplier, right? And then that will show up in the activity section. Again, like all the modules, transition between or the interaction between different modules is really easy. So easy transition to inventory and accounting. So from the purchase order, let's say you want to create a purchase receipt when the goods are actually sent. You just click on create, click on purchase receipt, and set the accepted warehouse, save it. And then within ERPNext, you can configure items to require inspection before purchase. That way you won't be able to submit the purchase receipt unless and until you have a quality inspection for that particular item. So you can do that as well. So we have a quality module as well, by the way. So let's submit this. And then what this does is it will post entries in the stock ledger along with the quantity, the date and time, with the valuation, right? Everything happens automatically, and all the information is stored. Now, let's say once the purchase receipt is done, you want to create a purchase invoice to create an accrual against the supplier. Click on create, click on purchase invoice. Purchase invoice, all the information is obviously prefetched from the previous document. You save it, submit it, and you can look at the accounting ledger, and it will post the entries in the relevant accounting ledgers, right? Uh, so yeah, that's what I mean by easy transition to inventory and accounting. Okay, next up we have stock module. So one of the great features about ERPNext with regards to stock module is it uses perpetual inventory accounting. Now, what that means is that every stock movement also affects your accounting. Unlike, QuickBooks or any other bookkeeping software or accounting software, you don't have to depend on cycle counts to get COGS or cost of goods sold, right? Because the accounting value is posted simultaneously whenever any stock transaction happens. What that means is that you get COGS in real time, cost of goods sold in real time, and you get cost of goods sold visibility even at the item level. So there is a good report on ERPNext called gross profit report. So this gross profit report gives you information at the SKU level. What is the quantity that was sold? What is the average selling price? What is the valuation? Uh, and then therefore, what is the profit and what is the profit percentage? So some items may be negative, some items may be positive, some may be, negative with a higher intensity. So you start getting all of that data at the item level. This is one of the greatest advantages of using perpetual inventory accounting. Then we have options of using your own valuation method, be it FIFO, LIFO, moving average. FIFO is first in, first out. LIFO is last in, first out, moving average. Auto reorder. So ERPNext can also help you manage your stock levels. So you can configure on ERPNext if the quantity goes below a certain threshold, it will automatically trigger an email to the purchasing department saying that the inventory is below a certain threshold. You better plan for it, either manufacture it, purchase it, whatever needs to happen for it. Inventory reports available out of the box, great traceability reports, stock balance report, stock ledger report. Um, so let's look at stock ledger. It's a good report to view. It's okay. So what this stock ledger is essentially, it's like a bank statement for your inventory, right? It shows all the transactions that have happened on the system, all the ins, outs, everything line by line in a chronological order, right? So if you want to understand what's going on with your stock, this report is very valuable. Barcoding, you can easily use barcodes, 2D barcodes, QR codes, and then easy integration, meaning that, since ERPNext is API first, you can integrate with any 3PL. So if you're using a 3PL, a third party logistics, you want to integrate with their platform, you want to fetch their inventory, you want to create a delivery note on ERPNext as soon as they ship out an order, all of that can be done through API integration. Then we have the accounting module. Um, again, one of the main features of ERPNext accounting module is dimensional accounting. So what we mean by dimensional accounting is that you can tag an accounting transaction with multiple dimensions. So for example, let's look at the next slide. It's a good example to uh, understand accounting dimension. So let's say you're selling on multiple marketplaces. You're selling on Amazon, you're selling on TikTok, you're selling on Shopify, Walmart, Amazon, etc. Right? So what we can do is we can set up marketplace as an accounting dimension, meaning that all your accounting transactions will be tagged through automation with the correct marketplace. And then you get a drop down on all your accounting statements for that accounting dimension. So you can look at what is the profit and loss statement for Amazon. You can look at what is the profit and loss statement for Shopify. What is it for Walmart, so on and so forth. So that gives you great visibility accounting wise. Then we have easy to use accounting vouchers, which I have already demonstrated. Creating a purchase invoice is as easy as clicking a button, just verifying a few things and submitting it. Similarly, sales invoice, all of that happens easily, and the GL entries happen automatically on submission of these vouchers. Integrates with other modules, which I have emphasized enough so far. Uh, all the modules are interconnected, integrates with other systems and softwares. Uh, uh, so if you want to integrate with uh, your 3PL, you can do that. Accounting dashboards. So there are a lot of dashboards available out of the box that you can leverage. So if I go to the dashboard list, if I go to accounts, if let's see the dashboards that are available. What are the annual outgoing bills? What are the incoming bills? What is the incoming payment, outgoing payment? Well, how does the profit and loss statement look? Not just in terms of numbers, but graphically, how does it look? Um, then month-wise, what is the distribution of incoming bills? What is the aging of receivables, payables in the graphical format? Uh, what is the percentage? Bank balance, this is demo data, so the bank balance is negative at the moment. So all of this is available out of the box. You don't have to configure dashboards, but you can also configure custom dashboards. All of that is available as well. So that was about ERPNext. Now let's talk about Frappe Cloud. So what is Frappe Cloud? So Frappe Cloud is a managed hosting service provided by the creators of ERPNext, which includes the application as well as the infrastructure. So you don't have to go through the hassle of installing the software or the application on any server. What you do is just go to Frappe Cloud and then, create an account or sign up with one, and you can create a site with a few clicks. So if you want to create a site, you select what apps do you want to use. So these are some of the other great apps created by Frappe. Wiki is one of the apps that we use frequently for our knowledge base. uh, uh, and then CRM, it's a standalone CRM that you can use. Learning is LMS, HR, and payroll. Right now, let's just install ERPNext to see how it looks. You can select the version. Let's install version 15. Let's select North Virginia region. Right now, since my account is an Indian account, I'm seeing these values in rupees, but you should see those in USD. So you can select a plan. So the plans that are available are available easily on the website. And what are the differences? All of that is mentioned. Um, so let's try to create a server. So let's say I select this plan. So highly recommend this plan because this comes with product warranty, meaning that if you encounter any issue, if at all, you can raise a ticket and the issue will be resolved by the Frappe team themselves. So do that and then select a subdomain. Let's say US manufacturing, right? You select that. Great, that's available. This is the pricing. I agree. Create the site, and that's it. It's as easy as that. You don't have to go through the hassle of creating uh, you know, the application. You don't have to install anything. All of that is done in the background, and you get to know actually what's going on, right? So that's what Frappe Cloud is: managed hosting, easy updates and upgrades. If there are updates and upgrades, you will see a pop-up or a nudge, and then you can click on that, and the updates and upgrades happen with a click or a few clicks, right? You don't have to go through the hassle of updating it through the command line. You don't have to depend on any service provider, hopefully, if the development has happened correctly. Built-in analytics. So it gives you great analytics out of the box. So you look at this site, for example, not only if you go to all analytics, it will give you daily usage. What are the request CPU usage, advanced analytics. It will tell you what are the background jobs that ran, CPU usage, what are the frequent requests, etc. Right? So all of this analytics is available. You can really understand what's going on. Then most important, built-in disaster recovery. So s- most plans come with offsite backups, meaning that the backup of your server is kept on a server separate from your own server. So God forbid, if anything happens to that particular server, you have a backup offsite that you can fall back to, right? And then most plans also come with OEM support, meaning that, if there is an issue encountered, Frappe team will solve that issue for you. Okay, so that's Frappe Cloud. And then now let's move to the implementation part. Okay, so that's product, that's Frappe Cloud, that's great. But ERP is a complex software. It comes with its own set of challenges. Um, so one of the major things I like to mention time and again is, ERP implementation is not a software development project. It is a consulting project, meaning that it's a project about understanding the business, the process, the people that are going to use it, and empower the end users to use the software. That's what the project is. It's not about software development. Yes, there can be developments, customizations, but that's a part of it. But at a high level, it is a consulting project more than a software development project. It involves a lot of change management. It involves consulting people as to, what are the benefits that we plan on achieving through this implementation project. And through that, we try to get the buy-in not just from the management, but from the end users, and make sure, the system is used and the business objectives are attained. There are multiple teams involved, too many moving parts, And therefore, ERP implementations are notorious for time and cost overruns, right? Since there are a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to manage, uh, it's easy to overrun the time, the budget, or the cost. That's where UnifyXperts comes in. We have a tried and tested implementation methodology that we use. So we break down implementation in three phases mainly. One is pre-implementation. So during the pre-implementation phase, we do a detailed requirements gathering workshop. So I have done in-person detailed requirement gathering workshop in the US, where I've tried to understand what is the current state of the business, what is the desired state of the business, what are the risks that we should plan for, and what is the plan for mitigating that risk. At the end of this workshop, we come up with a detailed sprint plan, which gives you the dates of major milestones. So I would like to quickly share few samples of these. So this is the document that I have created for one of our customers. It's a 35-page long document just for three modules: CRM sales, production, and inventory, right? So in this documentation, so this is the index or the overview of what we have done. And then we start with an executive summary. What is the goal of this document? What are the product lines? What are the terms that will be used? What are the modules that we plan to implement? Uh, what do each term, what does each term mean? Uh, what is the definition? What are the details? And then what we like to do is create a flow diagram that unifies everything, gives a great understanding of how the information will flow. So we are trying to integrate this with an existing application that the client has. So through this diagram, we've tried to explain how the interaction will work, what will be the triggers, and what information will be sent, what will be received, and then a brief description of the diagram. What are the reports that will be used? What do these reports mean? What is the information that will be available through these reports? What are the notifications that need to be sent out? At what event? To whom? What is the message going to be? What is the purpose? So it's a very detailed documentation, which simplifies our job of implementation and makes sure that we are managing, or we are basically on the same page as the client, and we are able to deliver what the client wants. These are some of the screenshots we like to add, again some workflows and so on and so forth. So that's the requirement documentation. And then we have something called as the sprint plan, or the implementation plan, in which we break down the tasks into epic, story, and task, the usual, the agile terminologies, and then what each task actually means, what is the start date, end date, what are the dates for training, what are the dates for UAT, user acceptance testing. So we come up with this, we add these to the calendar, so everyone knows when are the main sort of meetings planned, who is responsible, what are the comments, all of that. So this is how we plan for an implementation. So once the planning is done, we move to the implementation phase. So we break down the implementation phase into configuration development, where we do our configurations developments, we do our internal trials, and then we create an SOP, statement of procedure, using Frappe Wiki. So we can look at one of the wikis that we have created for an existing customer. All right, so this is the SOP. We start with glossary. Now the requirements document is more for the management and the implementation team, but the SOP is intended for end users, for them to be able to understand what does it entail, how do you create a lead with detailed steps, with flow diagrams, and uh, training videos linked right into the SOP. What are the reports? What do these reports mean with screenshots, etc. And then the flow diagrams wherever necessary for easy understanding and following. Right. So SOP is created. We train the users, and then we have office hours where users can come in and ask questions after they practice. They can clarify their doubts. Then we have something called as user acceptance testing. Uh, During this, we flip the script. The end users actually demo the features, and we are the ones who make sure that they have understood everything and they follow everything, so that the business objective is attained. That is what user acceptance testing is. Then we do some set of parallel run, meaning that you continue to doing whatever you are doing on your legacy system for some period, probably 2 to 4 weeks. And then we like to compare what is the expected outcome. And if we see that there are certain tweaks required, we make those tweaks, push those changes, and then go live. Once we go live, we move to the post implementation phase, where we move to providing functional and technical support. So that's our implementation methodology. And then here are some success stories. So this is a picture from my recent trip to US, where I did a 5 days detailed requirements gathering workshop for this particular company. And then these are the documents and the plan that you saw were for this company. And these are some of our other US clients. Alfred Golf is a customer that sells on multiple e-commerce multiple marketplaces. We have integrated Shopify, Amazon, um, and certain 3PLs, so that ERPNext can be the central source of truth for all the marketplaces. This is an engineering project-based company. Again, one body is supplements manufacturer and seller. Even they sell on multiple marketplaces. Global Trade Links is a service-based company. They have been using ERPNext for about 6 years now. And yeah, that's it. So open to questions. Last but not the least, I can share the links to try out ERPNext. And there is also a link to sign up for a free 30-minute consultation if you want, for your business, where we can get on a one-to-one meeting and explore how ERPNext can help your business. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
Manan. Uh, so I request everyone, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself or you can raise a hand so that we can unmute yourself and you can ask your queries. And you can post your email IDs in the chat comment so that uh, we can sign up you for a free consultation with Manan. Yeah. So open for Q&A. So there are already three questions I can see, Manan.
Okay.
First is, how can ERPNext be configured so that when suppliers quote on an RFQ, we can evaluate them not just on price, but also on other requirements or criteria?
So not just the price, but other criteria, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to do that, maybe within the RFQ, you can mention what other information you're looking for. Um, and then there is a description or a comment box where they can provide that information, and you can evaluate based on that. Or you can provide an email where they can send attachments if you want, and you can evaluate all of that together.
Cool. I hope, Benedict, this answers your question. There is one more question. Is it possible to modify the translation?
Modify translation. Uh, I know there is a place to contribute a translation, uh, but I haven't done it before, so I'm not exactly aware of what the procedure is. So by translation, do you mean the language translation?
I think this is with respect to language translation
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
So currently we are doing this on Crowden. So yeah, the translations can be modified.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there Frappe Cloud hosting available in Canada?
As a region, maybe not, but yeah, you can sign up from Canada and host it in Virginia, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have some experience using Frappe and ERPNext on a self-hosted instance, including developing custom reports, custom apps, and
Mhm.
custom hooks. Is it possible to do the same on Frappe Cloud?
Yes, so you can very much do it on Frappe Cloud. In fact, using Frappe Cloud will enforce you to, adapt the best practices of customization, meaning that you'll have to create a custom app, set up a dev server. So all the development should happen on a dev server, not on Frappe Cloud. It can be either self-hosted on-prem or any other, VMs. You develop there, test it there, push it to a GitHub repo, and then using that GitHub repo or any Git repo, I meant, and from there you can pull those changes to your Frappe Cloud instance. And then with, I guess, with dedicated server, you also get command line access. You can use it for development, but may not be the best use case of Frappe Cloud. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Manan, for answering that. So there is one question. One of our challenges with ERP is our product is dimensional, and our current ERP has a built-in product configurator
Mhm.
that generate bombs on the fly depending on users' input. The
Okay.
configurator, rule-based, can manipulate bomb material quantity, etc. Have you come
Mhm.
across anything in ERPNext or even an add-on to accomplish this?
Sure. So I have a customer, one body that I've mentioned on my slide. So the customer has himself, developed a simple tool using, doc types, client script, and server side script that kind of does what you want to do. So basically, you just capture the inputs, have all your logic either in, server side logic or client side logic, and then create the bombs in the backend. So you can easily use framework features and achieve this. Yes, but out of the box, if your requirements are very specific to your business, you'll have to, use these framework features and build it. Out of the box, what I've shown, bomb creator is the closest that you should look at.
Got it. There is one question from Tyler. For production plans, is it possible to start the process using webhooks?
um, so webhooks, as in, do you want to trigger that information from some other platform and have it created on ERPNext? Tyler, if you can unmute yourself and uh, maybe help me understand, if I'm
Yes,
making
so
sense
we
or not.
yes, we are still working with some of our legacy software. So in the process, we would like to pull information from the older software before get the full implementation going.
Mhm. Sure. So ERPNext does have an API available for all the doc types, but I'm not sure how webhook will work in that case. Sorry. So
Well, APIs are plenty good.
yeah,
That'd just be totally fine.
yeah, yeah. So you can do it through API. You just do a post API call or a put API call. I'm not sure. To the doc type production plan and make sure you have all the required fields uh, pushed through API. Yeah, you can do that. Or if you want to go even more advanced, what you can do is you can write a whitelisted function on ERPNext server, which will receive that payload and do whatever steps it needs to do through Frappe ORM. But that's a little advanced. But yes, that flexibility is there. You can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is one question. I have another question. Is integration with external accounting tools such as QuickBooks possible?
It is possible, but would not recommend it based on personal experiences, because the way accounting is done on ERPNext is different from the way traditional bookkeeping softwares work. But since APIs are available, anything is possible through APIs. Yes, but you have to build it out. QuickBooks integration is not available out of the box.
Alan, you have raised your hand. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
My question is kind of similar or adds on to that. We are small companies, so can you explain how the accounting works? Specifically, I'm wanting to use the stock, purchase things, put it in stock and use it. But when I tried to go look at my taxes or where the money went, it doesn't seem to go into COGS. It goes into the warehouse. How can you reconcile all that to be able for a small company who doesn't, who is very transactional, to handle that when I do taxes?
Okay, so as I've mentioned, there are two types of inventory accounting. One is perpetual inventory accounting and periodic. So what you're used to using is periodic inventory accounting, and through certain settings, you can also switch to periodic inventory accounting, meaning that whatever you purchase will be added to a purchase account or whatever account you choose it to be, right? And then through cycle counts, you keep on updating your COGS manually. So that is possible as well. But I would highly recommend you to understand what perpetual inventory accounting is. Uh, Maybe consult an ERPNext consultant and your CPA to understand what the difference is. If you understand the difference, perpetual inventory valuation could be a great value add. Uh, so what happens is on ERPNext, it uses by default perpetual inventory valuation. It's added to the warehouse because you haven't yet sold it, right? It is still an asset for your company. The COGS will be booked only when the delivery happens in the real time with the actual valuation. I
Yeah,
hope
I
I was able
understand.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I would rather all this happen automatically because I don't want I want to eliminate as many manual steps as possible.
Right.
However, when I go to do taxes,
Mhm.
they're always going to ask me, "Hey, how much did you spend this year?" And I'm not doing anything where I'm so small right now that we're not doing the type of bookkeeping that it's out in the future.
Okay.
It's
So,
all
yeah.
transactional.
So let me explain. So when you're doing taxes, you're being asked how much did you spend, or rather, what were the expenses that you incurred? So whatever you buy, unless and until it goes out of your warehouse, it's not an expense for your business. It is still an asset. It only gets expensed out when you sell that particular product, which will happen in case of perpetual inventory valuation or periodic. What you're assuming right now, whatever you're purchasing is an expense right away. That's not the case. It is an expense only when you sell it. The COGS or the cost of goods sold will be booked only when you sell it out, when it goes out of your warehouse.
Okay.
So the profit and loss account will be booked whether you use perpetual or periodic inventory. Rather, in perpetual inventory accounting, it will happen automatically. With periodic accounting, you have to do it manually. You have to do a cycle count at the year end and then book your COGS manually, as opposed to happening automatically through perpetual.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, pleasure. Anyone else?
There is one question from Benedict. I think this will be the last question.
Okay.
In context of purchasing PCs, how can ERPNext be configured so that when suppliers respond to an RFQ, they are evaluated not only on price, but also on detailed technical specifications? For example, can the system allow us to assess and score bids based on criteria such as CPU performance, RAM capacity, storage type and capacity, network capabilities? along with factors like brand reliability, warranty, and support services to effectively shortlist the most suitable supplier.
Right. So out of the box, the evaluation does not happen automatically because that's way too complex to generalize. Uh, but you can customize it with certain customizations to portals and doc types and some server scripts. You can automate it, but it will require certain customization. It's that kind of advanced evaluation is not available out of the box.
Cool. There is one question from Larry.
Yeah.
This relates to the question in the web chat regarding multi-tenant capability, where each company uses only their data and not shared. Someone mentioned you can do it on Frappe Cloud. Can you expand on this capability on Frappe Cloud versus other hosts? Also, if hosted on Frappe Cloud and you have customized the system, then Frappe Cloud pushes an update available. How will the update impact the customizations?
Okay, so there are two parts. One is multi-tenant capability, and the other is how are the customizations managed. Okay, so the first question, multi-tenant capability, um, it is an ERPNext feature. It can be done on Frappe Cloud as well. Um, you can set up multiple sites on a dedicated server, uh, or even you can have multiple shared servers as well for each business, and then each of it will work in isolation. But if you're looking to consolidate all of that information, then you should have it on one single instance and then separate out the concerns using roles and permissions. So I hope, Larry, that answers your question regarding multi-tenant capabilities. And the second question was related to customization. So like I said, all the customizations need to happen on a development server, pushed to a GitHub repo, and then pulled in the custom app. So all the customizations are in a separate application. It does not affect ERPNext and Frappe. So whenever ERPNext or Frappe framework push their updates, it will not affect your customizations, provided these customizations are done well and managed well.
Right.
Thank
And
you.
also the practice of uh, doing customizations via custom apps, right? So that uh, most of the users tend to do customization in the core.
Right, right. So Frappe Cloud kind of enforces you to adopt the best practices. Yeah. Okay, Milko, maybe we can take
Yep.
your last question.
Yes, thank you. This is regarding hospitality. Any built-in features or a module that can be added to manage a hospitality business, meaning hotel, bar, cafeteria, and so on?
Maybe some community developed modules, but I don't think Frappe themselves have any module or application that is available to use. But you
Okay.
can Google it. Maybe some community developed features or applications may be available. I have a feeling, but I'm not sure.
Meaning as an add-on that you can install it. I know it has a feature to install add-ons or modules.
So if it is a community developed app, you can still install it on Frappe Cloud, provided they have support for the latest versions.
I see, but it'll be a whole fork of ERPNext. It'll be a whole different app, right?
Yeah, it's a different app. It's not a fork, but yeah, it's a different app. It's like an
Right.
add-on. Yeah,
I see. Thank you.
yeah. Welcome. All right.
Cool. So thank you, Manan, for taking out your time today and conducting this webinar. It was a great webinar. So Manan, can you
Yeah,
just share your screen with your contact so that there
sure.
was someone who contacted that they wanted to inquire about 30 minutes consulting. So
Yes.
yeah, you can just
So
share the screen where people can
yeah.
reach out to you.
Yes. So this is my email address, manan@unifyexperts.com. And I will also post this link. It's a web form where you can sign up for the consultation. I will post it in the chat. So it's in the chat and not in Q&A. So
And after
that's the
this
sign up link.
webinar, also I will share this link with all the participants. So if you are interested, you can sign up for the free 30-minute consultation with my Manan.
Sounds good. Thanks, Asif. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Frappe, once again. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And I hope this is able to add some value. And have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.